In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your outer tie rod. Just as a disclaimer, after we're done with this, you're going to need a professional alignment. Let's get started. Let's remove the wheel, 21mm socket, remove all 5 of your lug nuts, and then pull the wheel off. Take the wheel off. Let's break free the jam nut that goes between the inner and the outer tie rod. It locks these two together, so take a 19mm wrench and you're going to want to break it free. And if you look from the outside, that's going to be spinning it clockwise. If you're looking the other way, obviously counterclockwise. Sometimes these are super stuck on here, so I might need a hammer to tap on my wrench. In situations like these, I prefer a rubber mallet because it doesn't bounce right back like a steel hammer would. There we go. Don't turn this a lot. All you want to do is just break it free, just like that. And now we can leave it exactly the way it is. Next, we have to take off the cotter pin that locks the tie rod castle nut. This one's fairly rusty, so it might not come out. If it doesn't, I'm going to have to put the socket right over it and basically spin the nut off with the cotter pin still in here. I'm going to try and break it free, but it looks like it might not happen. This is ready to break off of here, so we'll just get this off. And like I said, we're going to hammer a socket right over and spin the castle nut off that way. This is going to be a 17mm socket. I'm going to put the nut back on a couple threads so that when I release this tie rod, it doesn't just go falling down. It can be caught by the nut, and then we'll remove the nut. Hit the knuckle right here. That should break the tie rod stud free from the knuckle itself. That did it. Take the nut back off, and then we can pull the stud right through. Set this aside. Now take the outer tie rod and spin it to remove it. However, count the amount of turns that it takes to take it off so that when we put the new one on, we can get it as close as possible to a good alignment. That way you don't wear out your tires too much driving down to the alignment shop. About 17 turns for me. Obviously the number is going to be different for you, but just keep that in mind or write it down somewhere. Next, we have to remove this jam nut here. Take a 19mm socket and put it over. I'm probably going to have to hold the inner tie rod with some locking pliers, but I'm going to give this a shot. Sometimes it works. Oh, well, just like I said, sometimes it works. Other times, it's so stuck on here that you have to hold the tie rod or even heat it up where the nut is. Add some anti-seize to the threads of the tie rod. Not a lot, because once you put the jam nut on, it's going to get wiped off anyway. But you want to coat them so that they don't rust, and this will also prevent the outer tie rod from seizing to the inner tie rod, as well as this jam nut. Thread this on all the way down. Install the outer tie rod the same amount of turns that it took to take it off. There we go. Put the tie rod stud through the knuckle. Press it all the way in so you can put the castle nut on. This new nut is an 18mm. Bottom this out. And now let's torque it. The torque for this is 36 foot-pounds. And now we want to keep tightening to line up the cotter pin slot if yours doesn't line up. Mine actually does. You can't see it because it goes this way, but it actually lines up perfectly. So I'm going to take my cotter pin, put your cotter pin through, and of course we'll bend it over to lock it in. Now let's come back to the jam nut. This new one is a 22mm. Let's snug it up. Okay, that's good. And now I like to turn the tie rod back so that right here on the knuckle, it's parallel, not at a severe angle. And now you can safely drive down to get yourself an alignment. Now let's put the wheel on. Put back all 5 of your lug nuts, bottom them out, and then torque them to 76 foot-pounds. And double check them. There you go, take it for a road test.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.